Riley Sammon, did you know every 11 minutes another person is added to the National Transplant Waiting List? According to Margaret Little, a heart surgeon at the Johns Hopkins Hospital, in an article by the American Medical Association in 2017, for every minute that passes, 120 people around the world die. If one of these 120 people decided to be an organ or tissue donor, they could save up to 75 lives. Just one of them. Imagine how many people we could save each year if everyone decided to be an organ donor. Many of you might be an organ donor already. You had the option to do this when you received your driver's license. All you had to do was check the box stating that you wanted to be an organ donor, and when you received your license, there it was right on the front. I believe that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, or the HHS, should mandate organ donations unless someone decides to opt out. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the problem we face here in the U.S. with limited organs available, and then I'll talk to you about a possible solution to this problem. First, I'll talk to you about the problem we face here in the U.S. with limited organs available. There is a problem with limited organs available for transplantation. According to Paul Hesch, a medical journalist and former surgical assistant, in the article "Should the Government Require Your Consent to Be an Organ Donor?" published in 2019, there are people all over the world, including right here in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, that are in desperate need of organ donations. The main problem right now is that there are not enough organs available for the amount of transplantations that are needed. This could be due to the current organ donation policy. As also said by Paul, from November 11, 2011 to now, there have been 112,000 people on the organ donation waiting list. 19 people die every single day due to the lack of organ donations. If you do the math, that's about 8,000 people per year that die in the U.S. due to the lack of organ donations. For every one of these people that is removed from this list, 2 more people are added. You might be wondering, what is the current U.S. organ donation policy? Well, let me tell you. Currently, the U.S. uses mandated choice as their form of organ donation policy. This means that you have to sign up on the National Registry list to be an organ donor. For example, you can do this when you get your driver's license, or you can do this by signing up for a donor card. Mandated choice is also known as opting in, which means that someone cannot be an organ donor unless they give their consent. What does being an organ donor really mean? As explained by Prasanna White, a doctor and activist for organ donations, in her speech on organ donations in 2019, organ donation means that you are agreeing to donate your organs and your tissue after you die. Your organs and tissue will then be used for transplantation, research, and education. They will be examined by a medical examiner to find the best possible use for your organs. Now that we've talked about the problem that we face here in the U.S. with limited organs available, let's talk about a possible solution to this problem. There is an alternative organ donation policy known as presumed consent. What is presumed consent? Nicole Moore, a professor at the University of Michigan, explains this in simple terms. Presumed consent means that you are a donor until you have entered your name on the National Donor Registry list. Under presumed consent, the deceased family does not have any right to go against the deceased's desire to donate. Currently, under mandated choice, however, the deceased family has every right to go against the deceased's desire to donate, even if the deceased has stated it to a doctor and their family, has it on their driver's license, or has a donor card. According to Francesca Sieber, a journalist for Stanford University, in her article "How Opt-out Policies Could Affect U.S. Waiting Lists," has stated that 21 countries around the world currently use mandated choice as a successful form of organ donation policy. A few of these countries include Austria, Spain, Portugal, and Italy. If you combine these 4 countries total, their opt-out rate is only around 2%. Today I talked to you about the problem we face here in the U.S. with limited organs available. I also talked to you about why organ donation is so important. I believe that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services should mandate organ donations unless one decides to opt out. This policy would change the way people view organ donation. It may seem like talking about death is morbid, but it's really all about giving life.